And today we're reacting to the most painful prison deaths ever. Hey, from the More Astral Dior channel, I think it's safe to say, you know what I'm saying, regular, normal civilians for us, we just need to do the right thing. Shout out Bill Feezy. Stay out of prison, because you want some real, raw situations. Oh, go watch a Bill Feezy video. If you want me to be in it, react to me reacting to Bill Feezy video. Whichever is good, bro. Let's go make sure you be a law-abiding citizen. Let's do it.
Teeth. You get booked into prison and the air feels heavier the second that steel door slams shut behind you. The cuffs come off, but all eyes are still on you. You look left to right, only to see inmates.
Oh yeah, he can't wait to have his way right here.
You fucking bitch!
Buddy on the right, he can't wait to have his way. And he right here, he probably off that cream.
Sizing you up like wolves around a wounded deer. The first week you're in there, you're purely fresh meat. From getting shoved in chow lines to getting tripped in the showers, you quickly find out that in prison showing weakness is an invitation to getting beat up. So you stop. You start doing push-ups until your chest is on fire and burpees until your vision blurs. Anything heavy that you can get your hands on, you quickly start lifting. As usual, the fights keep on coming. But for once, you finally win. A few months later, people know your name. Inmates begin nodding at you in the yard. Gangs start sending some of their guys to your cell not to beat you up, but to rather invite you to their group. As usual, you stay solo, but the respect?
This is very sugar-coated. Hey, this is very sugar-coated, bro.
That's yours now. You've earned it, and everybody recognizes it. It wasn't easy, but you've finally climbed the ranks of approval inside of the prison. One night, you come back to your cell, and you can't help but to feel that something's off. You look inside, only to find a scrawny newcomer sprawled out on the top of the bed. Your bed. You've been locked up long enough to know that what this man is doing is one of the biggest signs of disrespect in the prison. But the man seems ignorant to the culture. He's half asleep with his head on your pillow, like he owns the place.
I think regardless, I think just regardless of anything, you would have to still kind of violate this man, though. I ain't gonna lie. You know, I don't provoke violence, but just off of the strength that I don't think prison, free world, homeless man, I think everybody can all acknowledge the fact that somebody on your bed, knocked out, drooling all on your sheets and pillow, they gonna at least have to like get slapped out they sleep. Even if you don't just keep just rocking, you just at least got to give them a good one of them where you warm the hand up and you cup the hand like this. This when you know somebody know how to slap somebody, when they do one of these. They cup the hand, wow, something, and you put a lot of head, you put a body into it.
Hey, wake up.
Huh? Can't you see that I'm trying to catch some sleep?
Get the off my bed.
Man, it's too early for this. Just buzz off.
Everyone's watching. This is the biggest disrespect you've received in months, and you become enraged to a point where you finally decide enough's enough. You grab the scrawny man and rip him off your bunk bed, slamming him down to the floor in an instant. Without wasting a second, you begin swinging at him like it's no man's business. Inmates rush out from their cells and form a crowd between the two of you, excited to see the fight take place. Your fists connect over and over, and cheers erupt around you from all types of prisoners. You lock him in a tight headlock, with your muscles bulging. He's flailing aimlessly, with snot and tears dripping from his eyes and nose.
Damn.
Gang leaders begin placing bets on who'll win the fight for fun, but it's obvious. You're winning easily. And then, it happens. A pain so sharp and blinding that it doesn't feel real. You really don't want to look, but you look anyways in pure disbelief. It wasn't just a gut feeling, your brain was right. The dude is literally biting your nose.
Meat chomping. Johnson chomping. You forget that you just you as a person, you know, you don't even think to do that because, you know what I'm saying, unless your life is in danger. Maybe I could see my life being in danger where if that was my last resort, I had to save myself, I might have to chomp let me not say that and get clipped. But you might have to chomp your way out of some situations. But in a fight, I don't know if you just you think of that. I ain't gonna lie.
You scream like a banshee. It's a sound you can't even recognize coming from yourself. But right now, you don't care. You begin to claw, punch, and bash on him. Unfortunately, however, you only find that the more you hit him, the harder the bite becomes. When you start to feel tissue rip, your punches turn into desperate pleas for him to stop. He doesn't listen. The crowd isn't cheering anymore, and even the veterans look sick. You begin begging for the guards to intervene, but by the time they rush in and rip him off you, it's too late. You're found convulsing on the floor, unresponsive, with life-threatening injuries. Medical staff does their absolute best to save you, but you're broken in a way that can't be undone. This incident took place in Ghana during 2021.
Wow.
Both individuals got into an altercation.
How remand prisoner for Ghana bite off the testicles of another inmate. One prisoner wait for judgment for Ghana day inside more trouble. Yeah, see, I can't read this. I don't understand.
That led to this shamelessly terrifying fight. The suspect that committed the crime was taken to court again, where he'd received judgment for his attack. Always remember to protect your jewels. The freezer incident.
She chomped and ripped and slipped.
On January 12th, a 33-year-old man would be taken to the Walker County Jail, confused, malnourished, and sick. His cousin had called for help, hoping that the police would bring an ambulance and give him medical assistance. However, the sheriff's deputies arrived to the scene first, and they reported that the man brandished a weapon and let off a round towards the officers before running into a forest. When they finally apprehended him, he was seen to be malnourished and in a state of total delirium, with his only comments being incoherent babbles about portals in hell. Instead of taking the man to the hospital, the officers would lock him in a cold booking cell and remove his clothes for whatever reason. From the moment the door clanged shut, the cold began eating at him.
Yeah, it'd be cold in there too, boy. Freezing. I remember when I got there, it was cold. When I had got arrested, it was cold. It was like February. It was February. No, it was January. I forget. It was one of the coldest times of the year. January or February. It was already cold outside. Then we get there, it was cold as fuck. One of them moments where you got to put your arms in your shirt. You know what I'm saying? It was so cold, bro, that I just couldn't wait to I just wanted them to put me in the cell. They had me in the holding cell. It was cold as hell, and then they put us in the real cell. And it was a little bit less cold, but it was still pretty bad.
It seeped into his bones, turned his skin to goose flesh, and made his teeth chatter until his jaw ached. Each breath fogged in the air like it was Christmas night, and the man began shivering so violently that it hurt. An officer would state that this treatment was fitting, since the man fired a weapon at the officers. Some other jailers even said that the cops should have just fired at him, instead of bringing him back to the jail alive. Days passed without food, warmth, or medical treatment for his mental state, until one day he was finally taken out of the cell. However, it would be for anything but a good reason. Despite being in a freezing cold cell with temperatures that dropped below 30 degrees for nearly a week, officers still thought that these conditions were too comfortable for him. To the man's complete horror, they wanted to lock him in the jail's kitchen freezer. They would rip him out of his cell and tase him so violently that he'd lose his dentures in the process. With his wrists and ankles shackled, they would throw the man in a metal restraint chair, tie him down, and leave him in the freezer. The air inside was biting. Any ounce of heat his body may have maintained before was sapped instantly. His body burned with fever, then chilled again, as if it couldn't decide whether to fight or surrender. The hum of the refrigeration unit filled the silence. His fingers stiffened, his lips turned blue, and the man froze.
Not chained. You can't even do the hand warming. That's how they say the police are gang too, because this is gang activity right here.
Every second in that chair feeling like hours. When they moved him back to the holding cell, the floor was littered with trash. He lay there motionless, ribs showing, breath shallow. A nurse appeared briefly, stood at the doorway, then turned off the light and left him in darkness. Guards passed his cell, some stopping to look, others just walking by. Not one brought him clothes. After enduring 2 weeks of pure horror,
2 weeks?
The officers took him to a hospital. A human's normal body temp is supposed to be about 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. But when they brought him in, he was only breathing 2 breaths per minute with a pulse that was nearly non-existent, and his body temperature shockingly read 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Doctors tried to warm him up and did their absolute best to push his body back from the edge, but
How do you even do 2 breaths per minute? I just tried to do one, just tried it halfway and was already gasping.
sadly enough, it was too late. In the official report, officers would lie and say that he was completely fine when he left the jail, and that hypothermia is what caused this outcome. But in truth, they froze him alive. Thankfully, 10 jail staff members would all be tried and charged in relation to this incident. Let situations like these encourage you to know the law and your rights as a civilian well.
Man, whether he knew his rights or not, they was doing what they wanted to do with him.
And also, let it serve as a reminder for people like you and I to refuse to look the other way whenever those in power treat humans with cruelty. Napalm. First, you do enough favors from other prisoners for them to buy you some peanut butter from the commissary. Then you eat up the peanut butter and lick the jar clean and keep it concealed. After that, you steal some sugar from the jail's kitchen and strong cleaning materials like bleach.
Stealing. Be careful doing that.
Or ammonia. Once you've got all your materials, head back to the kitchen and bribe the prisoner working kitchen duty to have access to stove and pots inside. Then, quickly cook yourself some boiling hot water and slowly pour it into your peanut butter jar so that it doesn't melt and warp the container. Finally, sneak the boiling hot water back to your cell and mix the rest of your ingredients inside of it. And when you see your enemy sitting down to eat his lunch, attack. This concoction is called prison napalm, and it's one of the most dangerous yet common weapons used within US
Sugar and bleach? Hot water, sugar, bleach.
prisons. This horrific mixture splashes onto you and sticks to your skin while burning the living hell out of your body.
Damn.
It's difficult to get off, and it keeps on burning you long after the attack is over because of its stickiness. Hence why it's called prison napalm. In August 2013, a 24-year-old man would be sentenced to 20 years of prison for mistakenly targeting an innocent young girl in an act of violence that would tragically be the cause of her passing. With the community absolutely enraged about this, people outside of the prison would put a $13,000 bounty on his head.
They giving $13,000 to a man in prison? Bro, we done seen on there what somebody, we done seen in the Bill Feasy video what somebody would do for $500 worth of food stamps for their family, not even them. And you was gonna send 13 racks to the man. It's over with. It's over with.
For the prisoners to deal away with him. After a series of unsuccessful attacks, the man would be placed in a protection cell with 2 other inmates. But horrifically enough, at around 11 p.m., the man would prepare to go to bed when one of the inmates in the cell quickly pinned him down to
because I heard about 13,000.
the floor, while the other
Come here.
magically revealed a steaming hot concoction of, yep, you guessed it,
We got him.
prison napalm. What makes this case terrifying is that the men didn't just throw and splash the napalm on him, like how it's normally supposed to be used. They began slowly pouring the boiling hot liquid down his throat, causing severe injury to the man's internals. Afterwards, they poured the rest of it on his face, eyes, lips, and ears. Officers would quickly intervene, but upon glimpse of the man, they would report that he bared a horrifyingly similar resemblance to a real-life zombie. So, with that being said, stay in school, follow your passions,
Stay out of trouble. Do the right thing. Make money, not excuses. We gone, man.